Hi there, my name is Naveria and I welcome you back to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Hopefully this is gonna be the last part of this playthrough, but I don't really know because this game just can't seem to stop ever, even though there were moments when I thought we are done. Now we're done, but no, every time something else popped up. Okay, let's continue. We are still on the pillock and yeah, continue. Turns out we had a surprise witness on our hands, the victim himself, the storyteller, and apparently he already told us everything he could. Though I'm surprised, I thought he would be there for till the end of this trial. Apparently not. Then again, nothing surprises me anymore. The secret behind Labyrinthia, the legendary fire, witches, magic, and finally, Bezella. The veil was just about to be lifted off these mysteries once and for all. Okay everyone, it's high time we end this. Well, actually previously you already said that, I think so. In the beginning of the previous part you also said it's time to end this, and we didn't end this. Let's give Labyrinthia the fresh start it deserves and solve these mysteries. I thought we already solved everything. But, oh, right. Maybe not, because I think the storyteller also hidden some more information from us. I guess he may not even be father of Espella. Okay. Mr. Contabella. Mister? I thought we were done with him. I would like to apologize for putting too much pressure on your daughter. Only your words can bring her back from the brink of madness. Let her hear the truth from her own father. All according to your plan, Layton. You have driven Espella into a corner in order to push me to the wall. I had no other choice. Espella, please listen to me. You haven't done anything wrong. You didn't cause that accident. You have suffered so much, thinking that you were Bezella. I must take the blame for that. You, Mr. Contabella? I sacrificed everything to make up for what I've done. But all I managed to do was inflict more pain upon others. Is that not so, Darklow? Now that you are willing to talk, Mr. Contabella. I thought he was already willing to talk. He's been talking all the previous part, wasn't he? Would you mind telling us your story? Yours, as well as Espella's and Miss Darklow's. Very well. This story, too, began when I was a young lad. Huh? When Newton and I were still youths, full of dreams and hope. That we already heard before. As you already know, we discovered the underground ruins. And deep within them lay what that accursed bell. The Bell of Ruin. At the time, we still lacked the knowledge to decipher any of the writings we found there. This bell is magnificent. It's bound to make the most beautiful sound. Only because it's beautiful, it's not how it actually works. I have an idea. Why don't we make this bell the symbol of our town? How do you propose to do that? Let's build a bell tower for it. Then we can ring it on the special occasions. That's not a bad idea. Then it's settled. When we grow up, let's do it. Okay, let's don't forget about it. The two of us chose different paths in life. We studied management and I studied management in London, while Newton devoted himself to a study of the natural sciences. And then he made a fortune following the invention of a new anesthetic. Nola? Don't do that. It wasn't actually this guy, it was his friend, Newton. We both got married around that time, and each of us had a daughter. Oh, Darklo was daughter of his friend. No? You mean, but they look different age, though. You mean Espella was born shortly after your company gained funding? That's right. That's a good timing. We eventually returned to our hometown and set about realizing our childhood dream. Having built the bell tower in the middle of the town square, we retrieved the bell itself from the underground ruins. We aspired to make it the symbol of prosperity for this unindustrialized town. The bell was to be officially displayed during the annual fire festival. It would be rung in the morning following the night of celebration. Pardon the interruption, but at the time, were you aware of the meaning behind the bell's name? Obviously, we were not. Thinking back to my ignorance at the time, a chill now runs down my spine. What's wrong with Espella? She's out. Newton and I went to the bell tower the day before the festival. Only one more day to go. We have waited a long time for this. That we have. This town will no longer be the same after tomorrow. The bell waned so much that ringing it was not easy. We tackled that problem by constructing a special mechanism which we installed in the belfry.
Daddy, I want to hear the bell. Can I make it ring? Daddy, please, let me ring it.
Oh, children. So annoying. Espella, who was there with us, was utterly enchanted by the bell. She wasn't a bad child, but she was very stubborn and would rarely listen to me when she wanted something. I told her a story to try and convince her to leave the bell alone.
Espella, listen carefully. You mustn't ring this bell.
But why? Why can't I, Daddy?
Well, when you tell people not to do something, especially kids, you know, they always do that. Maybe try find another way to not let them do something.
The witch.
Uh-huh. She's an evil fire witch who uses magic to hurt people.
If you ring this bell, Bazella will come out and possess you.
Possess me? You mean I'll turn into Bazella?
That's right, Espella. When Bazella possesses someone, she uses them to do terrible things. That's why you must never ring this bell, sweetheart.
I understand, Daddy.
There's a
Oh, that's so cute. The legend of Bazella has been passed around these parts for centuries. It probably originated from beliefs of the tribes that populated this area in the past. What I have told Espella was just a silly story that I invented for the occasion. It was only meant to stop her from ringing the bell. I could not have imagined that it would have such a far-reaching consequences. She's back. It's all coming back to me now. I remember that day. On the day of the fire festival, just around the time when the preparations ended, and everything was about to begin. I sneaked out of our house. I took Mom's pendant with me. Your mother's pendant? Do you mean this one? Yes, it belonged to my mom. By the way, I'm interested in her mom. What happened to her? We needed to limit access to the bell, so we made the 2 keys. We decided to make them into pendants and each gave one to our respective wives. Both are needed in order to access the belfry. I saw you and Mr. Belduke use them, so I told Eve to meet me at the bell tower.
Daddy says Bezella will come out if I ring the bell, but if I do it just a little...
Are you serious, stupid kid?
I want to try it while the festival is going on. I hope Eve doesn't forget her mum's pendant.
So it is just as I thought, Miss Darklow. You are Mr. Belduke's daughter, apparently. Huh. Well done, Inquisitor. I was almost afraid you would fail to make that connection. But why do we need that connection? Wait, does this mean that Belduke is actually alive? Just like our storyteller, he also wanted to die for everyone, but he's actually alive. Which means that Belduke is probably too.
What in the... This is too much for one day.
True, true.
Order! Order in the court, Lady Darklow. You mean to say that you are Sir Belduke's daughter?
Yes. My real name is Eve Belduke. I am the alchemist's daughter.
This is unbelievable.
I also sneaked out of my house that evening, clutching my mother's pendant in my hand. I did just as you asked me to. Did I not, Espella?
Espella, my mum's going to be so angry if she notices I took the pendant. Don't worry so much. I just really want to ring that bell.
And Darklow is actually older, I believe. She looks older. So she could try to at least stop silly little Espella. But guess not. And then they rang it and it turned into a fire of death. I rang the bell against my father's warning, and so Bezella possessed me. Because of me, the town, and everyone in it, they're all gone.
No, it's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself.
Supposedly the former inhabitants of this area also used to fall unconscious upon the sound of that bell. Perhaps they experienced a similar nightmare.
It was I who brought the bell of ruin into this town. The one to blame for this calamity is not some witch, it's me.
I brought destruction upon this town. I am Bezella.
Espella, you're going to drive your dad crazy if you keep repeating that.
Huh, huh, huh. Who's that? Ah, okay. Darklow. Seeing you like this has given me a strong feeling of deja vu.
Eve, how can you be so evil? Are you happy now?
I am afraid we are in the dark as regards Miss Darklow's sense of deja vu. Yeah, what the hell is she talking about?
Only 4 people survived the fire.
Only 4? Well, Espella and Eve, yeah, who were in the belfry.
And the only 2 residents who did not participate in the festival. Newton and I.
No, okay, that makes sense. And where were you at the moment? At the time, if you'll
permit my asking. We were investigating those fateful ruins. That's why we didn't notice anything until it was too late. It was getting near the time at which we planned to ring the bell, so we headed towards the town. Then we saw it. The town had been burned to ashes, the air shimmering from the heat.
That's too awful for words.
We searched for survivors, sick with anxiety. Eventually, we found our daughters in the bell tower.
Wait, so this means their mothers also died in the fire?
Oh my god! Spella was unresponsive, like a doll, Eve was crying at her side. Our belief at having found them vied with terror caused by the disaster. The worst nightmare of my life ended, pierced with the first rays of sunshine, but then it seemed Spella was already lost to us. We had lost her to Bezella. She wouldn't speak, eat, or even leave her room. She thought she was Bezella, and that she had destroyed the town. I couldn't get that out of her head.
Yeah, I guess she had that mental condition, huh? That can probably happen when something terrifying happens.
What she saw from the bell tower must have been so terrifying. But it wasn't shock from what she had seen. My own words had put her in that state. Had I only not told her that stupid story. We had been grasping at straws, trying to find a way to save Spella's mind. But whatever we did, her eyes would remain impassive and empty. In the end, I came up with an uncertain idea that offered us a glimpse of hope.
What is that? This suspense, it's too much for my aging heart.
Poor Judge. I believe I may know what it was. It was the only way to get through too little Spella.
Inquisition? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I also have... Oh no! No! Not this! Not options!
What was Mr. Cantabella's idea for saving his daughter from insanity?
First story, huh? I guess. Makes sense.
Have a look.
We discovered this in Spella's room.
And that is?
It's a handmade picture book. The illustrations and handwriting are truly exquisite. That's the first story I wrote.
So that's how all the story stuff happened, huh? Started.
I made it for Spella after that dreadful fire.
Oh, the storyteller's first story.
It was but a simple children's story. The plot was very straightforward. The townsfolk joined forces to banish evil witches who served Bezella.
Spella, do you understand now? You aren't Bezella. Bezella is somewhere out there, sending out other witches to do bad things to the people of our town.
Witches, magic, the town perishing in flames. Spella was mentally broken and I couldn't get through to her any other way. I talked to her as if magic and witches were real, avoiding any mention of that fire.
A witch is real.
Spella spoke to me for the first time in so many days. I was beyond myself with joy and replied without thinking.
Oh, yes, they are. They're hiding in the town, among the people.
But it's just a fairy tale.
I was desperate. I feared she would close herself off to me again. Now, in hindsight, I see what an utter fool I was. I made an irreversible mistake yet again.
No, it's not. Everything your daddy writes comes true.
Oh no.
The bad witches will get their comeuppance. I will write a story about it.
And so I wrote another story for my daughter. A story about mischievous witches getting caught. This time I had the story acted out in front of a speller.
You had it acted out?
Back then, I wasn't the only one tormenting myself over the mental state of my daughter. Newton was going through hell too. His own daughter had been badly scarred by the events. Isn't that right, Eve?
My father and I repaired a building that had survived a fire and continued to live in this town. Isabella wasn't even able to leave her room. We couldn't leave her behind when she needed all the help she could get. Mr. Cantabella showed us this book one day. Then he made an unusual request of us.
I'd like to make this story real. Would you be willing to help me do so?
To our surprise, he was entirely serious, seeing that we gladly offered our help. A story about evil-doing witches getting caught and punished, and Bezella the source of them all.
Are you paying attention, Espella? Witches got what they deserved, and peace has been restored to the town.
Oh, look at her. Isabella smiled at the end, then she whispered to herself.
It wasn't me.
When I saw her smile, I felt as if something broke inside me. I couldn't afford to let her be sad again. Maybe if Bezella were to exist in this town, Espella would stop thinking she herself harbored the Great Witch. I continued writing stories about witches. Even I would act them out for Espella.
This is ridiculous. So, all these trial things are not even... Why am I even supposed to be in here? Why they even let me be an attorney for this whole thing? I could ruin all their plans. And I kinda did. And gradually, the number of characters in my stories increased. That was, of course, largely due to the ongoing reconstruction of the town. How much reconstruction? It wasn't anything on the big scale. I simply paid people to move in and act out their roles. But I began to think that I would need more than that. The story had to be real. To make a lie seem true, you resorted to even more lies. Yes, I was certain that was the only way. How did I do so? I remembered about Newton's research. He was working on a certain medicine. It was a kind of tranquilizer made from local plants that he was testing at the time, but it was difficult to put into practical use. The substance had a danger of causing unconsciousness and hypnosis.
I can see how that could be abused to cause much harm, supposing it fell into the wrong hands. At the same time, it was just what I needed for my ambitious project. I contacted the government, and that was the beginning of what came to be known as Project Labyrinthia, a town with human test subjects. all in a state of long-term hypnosis. You devised that plan solely for the sake of your daughter? Yes. We acquired the land which had been laid to waste by the fire. The new town was slowly becoming populated. Gradually, the rules of Labyrinthia were established. It was to be a town where magic and witches were a reality to the residents. All of this was possible thanks to the drug. The test subjects were exposed to it through the ink used to pen the story, right? That's right. It was the dangerous drug developed by Newton. About 10 years have passed since then. Even now, the town continues to change. Did he go away or something? What? No? Oh, he's still there, okay.
Project Labyrinthia.
And all this was gone?
Done. For one girl?
Spella was only able to be herself when she lived within my story. Oh, the irony of it. Only within the world in which Bezala was real could Spella's tragic memories be sealed. All this while, Eve was assisting me. I was the first shade. As soon as the story began, I disappeared from the scene. If Spella was to see some magic, then someone had to don this robe.
That's the robe of invisibility.
I gave Spella new memories so that she could live in this town with everyone else. I also sealed the memory of her friend Eve.
What?
My existence was too strongly connected to her memory of the fire. Afterwards, I returned as Darklow, a stranger to Spella.
But even if you were doing this for Spella's sake, that's just going too far.
I made that choice. I do not regret the past 10 years. Meanwhile, my father was supporting Labyrinthia from behind the scenes in his own way.
Do you mean his contributions as an alchemist?
My father's knowledge of medicine was indispensable for this town to function. The hallucinogenic ink was my father's work as well.
So it was. Newton and Eve sacrificed more than anyone else for the sake of Spella and this town.
I will be forever indebted to them. We wanted to save Spella, just like you. But then, there's still something I don't understand. Why were you trying to destroy this fake world? In the end, you chose to betray Spella and Mr. Cantabella. True. Oh, but I have told you already, have I not?
It was your revenge against Mr. Cantabella for choosing to end the story, correct?
I wonder whether that was the true reason. Huh? Professor? Would Miss Belduke really betray them merely because she did not want the story to end? I dare say there was another, considerably more important reason. She had another reason? And I guess I have to guess that reason? No need to frown in dismay, Mr. Wright. Please leave this to me.
Well then, let's hear what the Inquisition has to say.
No, I guess. But first, let me save the game.
What other reason led the witness to betray Mr. Cantabella?
Suicide note?
Have a look.
Of her father? This letter was Miss Balduke's real motive.
What is this? I think I've seen it before.
Yeah, you did. That's the letter written by Mr. Balduke for Mr. Cantabella. It's also Mr. Balduke's suicide note. My dear friend, I hope you can forgive me for leaving this world of my own on my own will. What I have done cannot be forgiven. I can never escape from it. Something was tormenting Mr. Balduke. It became too much for him to bear and drove him to suicide. This past 10 years, I thought Father was glad to be helping Cantabella. But little did I know, he was suffering terrible anguish all that time. Cantabella twisted the lives of so many people for the sake of his daughter. Was the story not but a glorified lie, stripping so many of what little happiness they had? All those years, Father was racked by a crushing sense of guilt. His agony culminated in the incident of 3 months ago, Mr. Balduke's death. But is he really dead? Before Labyrinthia was created, certain things had to be concealed in order to seal Ispella's memories. Had she seen them, she would have remembered. They were simply too dangerous for her. One of them was me. Ispella's friend Eve had to be reborn as the Shade and disappear into the forest. The next thing was the bell tower. I see. Had she seen it, it would have been certain to stir up those traumatic memories. Memories of the legendary fire. The only one to prevent that was to erase the bell tower from Labyrinthia. Wait, did I read it right?
But how could you do that?
Using the same method as with this rope. The rope of invisibility. In short, we covered up the tower with a huge robe. Although it wasn't as easy as it sounds. In other words, the bell tower had been there all this time. Only the townspeople couldn't see it. Is that correct? Indeed.
I don't know what to say.
At any rate, the situation changed due to that lightning strike 3 months ago, did it not? It was a most unfortunate accident. The lightning set the bell tower's cover on fire. That cover was quickly consumed by flames, revealing that abominable bell tower. The beginning of all of this, the Bell of Ruin, appeared before us. It was mockery of our efforts. The tower emerging from the flames must have seemed like a sign of divine anger to Mr. Balduke. A sign that no matter how you attempt to conceal your sins, the truth will eventually float up to the surface. Having realized this, Father chose death.
He was such a kind-hearted man. I didn't have an inkling of what he had been going through.
To him, the participation of Labyrinthia's people within this project was not voluntary. Even though they had themselves signed the contract, I believe he felt those people were being deceived. Father took his life because of you, Cantabella. Okay, sorry. Tried to sound dramatic, but I failed. Now you know why I did what I did. I lost my father 3 months ago. That day my revenge began. Your revenge? The first step of my plan was to rewrite the story. What did you say? As president of Labrellum Inc., you had to spend most of your time in London. Over past few years, you were coming to Labyrinthia only for the parades. So naturally, I knew you would never notice if the story were slightly changed. That explains it. I couldn't help thinking there was something strange going on. Mr. Cantabella is Espella's father after all. He wouldn't have made Espella a witch in his story. Espella was... a witch? When did that happen? Oh, he didn't even check the stories before he threw them into the crowd? How could you have known, after all? Let me fill you in on the details. Espella was already been tried once within the witch's court. Impossible. Why? How could you? You knew the risk that would carry. Look at you, what a fine author of that grand story you are. You left all the work in Labyrinthia to me. Meanwhile, you were making millions for yourself in London. What a pathetic excuse for a father. You didn't even notice that your precious little Espella was in such danger. Yeah, grandfather there. Right there. He is. Miss Belduke, why did you do that to Espella? Do you even need to ask? I did it to unlock her memories. You mean, when the legendary fire took place, Espella was so traumatized that she closed herself off to the world. We were just little girls then. The tragic accident was too much for us to handle. This fictitious town was created as a facade to keep the truth away from Espella. But the weight of all these lies led my father to his suicide. Despite that, the person responsible for all this carried on as if nothing had happened. I couldn't forgive him. As Belduke's bereaved daughter, I had to have my revenge against both Cantabellas. Judge, this is the whole truth. Now you know the true identity of Bezella. I don't think that's what we are actually looking here for. You say this is the whole truth, but is that really the case? Oh my god, is there more? Professor, what are you going on about now? We have been provided with a clear picture of what happened to Espella so long ago. Nevertheless, we haven't yet heard your testimony. Don't be ridiculous. This will be the last testimony in this trial. Tell us about the night of the legendary fire. You promise it's gonna be last? If you promise, then okay. I request that you tell us the story. Who do you think you are, Inquisitor? I am merely one of the supporting characters within this tale. However, I am very much interested in the truth. I guess I am too.
This has been a very long trial, of which this shall be the last interrogation. The court demands that a single other witness of the legendary fire provide us with her testimony.
Very well. There is only one truth. Nothing can change that. Yeah, okay. Is this really the last? Like, how many times did I hear that? Espella wanted to ring the bell no matter what, so we went up to the belfry. The festival celebrations had already started. The mechanism for ringing the bell was at the height even we couldn't reach? Could? Yeah. The next thing I remember is coming to and running to Espella's side. I was shaking her until she finally opened her eyes. The next moment, we saw that nightmarish view. All strength abandoned us, and we didn't know what to do. That was when we were found by my father and Mr. Cantabella. The bell could only be rung with a special mechanism.
That's right. It was made in such a way that even a child could use it.
It was probably constructed by my father. I suppose he wanted to make it possible for anyone to ring that bell. Why? In light of the events that followed, that was clearly a very foolish decision. A mechanism for ringing the bell. I noticed something like that on a pillar when we went to the belfry earlier. I'd better make a note of it in the court record. For ringing the bell, even a child can use it.
Oh dear, fate can certainly be cruel. I have to agree. If only we had not discovered those ruins and brought that bell to our town. Or if only we could have deciphered those ancient writings a little earlier. Moreover, if only the groundwater in this area didn't cause that strange condition. Unfortunately, Mr. Cantabella, the tragedy occurred. All that remains for us to do is to seek out the truth. Not for the sake of vengeance, but for the sake of the future. Mr. Wright? Yes? You have been fighting fiercely to uncover the truth. This is the final interrogation. I trust you. I trust you know what to do. Not really. Leave it to me. To be honest, I have no idea what lies ahead. But whatever it is, there's no question we need to get to the bottom of it. There's got to be light at the end of this tunnel. Yeah, sure. Let's save the game first before diving into this. I'm gonna use hints though, as usual, lately, because yeah. I've collected them for a reason, right? Can make them waste.
Hold it!
You said strength abandoned? You didn't leave the belfry until their arrival? Of course not. We were paralyzed with fear. It was an event so traumatizing, it still haunts us. Espella fainted again when she saw the fire dragon. I was crying and wailing until our fathers found us. We went to the bell tower, as it was a good vantage point. We weren't expecting to find our daughters there. Of course, neither suspected at that point that the disaster had been caused by the Bell of Ruin. Eve was in tears, sobbing violently,
As for Spella, she was in a daze, her face frozen in an expression of disbelief. She didn't know what was happening around her. I cannot say this with certainty, as my memories are a little vague. But I think I was trying to protect her.
Hang on!
You want to say something, Mr. Cantabella? I remember that very well, as if it happened yesterday. Cantabella? Would you mind telling us what you saw? We'd like to know.
Eve! Espella! Are you alright?
Daddy!
Eve! What on earth happened here?
It was Bezella! Bezella the witch!
Bezella? What are you talking about?
Bezella comes out whenever someone rings the bell, right?
What have you done? You didn't...
Oh, please, Mr. Cantabella, don't be angry at Bezella.
Eve said it with the most serious look on her face. Please, Mr. Cantabella, don't be angry at her. When she said that, I grasped the situation. I realized what had transpired in the belfry. And I thought to myself, I must protect these children.
Eve. I'm so sorry, Eve.
Espella. Espella. Sweetie.
Dad. Please forgive me. You've done all this for me.
Espella. You're with us again.
All this for me.
Well, well. At last, it would appear we are one step away from the truth. Professor, you seem to already know what that truth is. Do I? That remains to be seen. Continue the interrogation and we shall all know soon enough. I'm so lost. Very well. The court agrees with the Inquisitor, Layton, I guess. Witness, continue your testimony.
As you wish.
Okay. Wait. Hint again? I guess. I was shaking her until... Okay, press. So it was you who woke Espella up, witness?
Yes, it was me.
She was out cold, curled up on the floor until I shook her awake. As soon as she came to, she turned to look at the town, to that nightmarish view stretching out before us. Apparently, Espella wants to tell us something. Excuse me, Espella.
Espella, are you okay?
Yes. Everything's fine. My apologies for bringing back such troubling memories. Nevertheless, you must endeavor to face them and overcome the power they hold over you.
Yes, I remember it now. The fire dragon. I summoned it because I'm Bezella.
No, so you don't really remember stuff. No, Espella, it was just an illusion.
No, you're wrong, Dad. It wasn't an illusion. It was a fact. If I hadn't rung the bell, none of this would have happened. Bezella is the bringer of disaster, and that's what I've done to our town.
The accused Run away. Run away? Quick, after her! She's running to the bell tower. Darn it, she's locked herself in. It's no use. We'll have to break down the door to get in. Ah, that girl. She's gone and... herself? What is that? What is this? What is that word? Stay away from me. I guess it was her. Damn it. What are you doing? Spella? What the hell? Spella, be careful! It's dangerous up there. Please, Spella, come down. I'm sorry, everyone. I have no right to be here anymore. Nick, Spella's going to do something crazy. I can see that. But what the heck can I do? Spella, please do not make any hasty decisions. Mr. Layton. The truth is closed now. Be brave for a little while longer. The truth? As if it wasn't clear already. If I hadn't rung that bell, everything would have been fine. You may be mistaken. You still don't know the whole story. Huh? Isn't that so, Mr. Wright? Why are you asking me? I had the same feeling when I was listening to Eve's testimony. I felt something was not right. So maybe Eve was the one who rang the bell? Am I right? How are we gonna prove it though if it's the truth? Really? I thought that was pretty much it. Yeah, me too. The pieces of the puzzle that don't yet fit are themselves the hints of the solution. No way. You mean Spella didn't ring the bell? What? Nonsense. Of course she did. As it stands, it's hard to say for sure. It's Phoenix, okay. It's hard to say for sure that she didn't ring the bell. However, we've got evidence that will clear any doubts. Show us this so-called evidence you claim to have, then. I don't know. What's he talking about? Do I have such an evidence? Really? What do you think proves the Spella didn't ring the bell? You mean this? Even a child can use it, but it's not. I guess, but I mean, I don't know how it proves anything.
Take that!
How? We'll see, I guess. Spella, can you hear me? Yes. Where you're standing now is the same spot from where you saw this fire dragon. Yes, that's right. This fretwork here is the same as what I saw that day. When I look at it now, it seems so small, even adorable. Defense. What does this have to do with anything? As you will no doubt recall, Mr. Contabella told us that people who drink the groundwater here suffer from a condition where they fall unconscious the moment they hear the sound of pure silver. After the bells sounded, you recovered consciousness sooner than Spella. You ran to her side and shook her awake. As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw the fire dragon. In other words, if it was Espella who rang the bell. That would mean the device for ringing the bell must be very close to the fretwork of the dragon. Espella, can you please check that for me? See if the contraption is located near the dragon fretwork. Okay, give me a minute. Mr. Wright! Espella, did you find it? I don't know if it's the right thing, but there is something on the other side of the belfry. A contraption with a handle. What? On the other side? That's right. I figured there was something weird when we went up the bell tower, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. No way. You see where I'm going with this, don't you, Miss Belduke? If it was Espella who rang the bell, there's no way she could have seen the fire dragon when she woke up. No, this can't be right. An excellent deduction, Mr. Wright. Miss Darklow. It seems that everything is now clear as day. What? What do you mean? Why, of course. I mean the answer to the question of who rang the bell. It was her. It had to be. What do you say, Mr. Wright? I guess it was Eve. It looks like we have arrived at the same conclusion. We now know that only one person could have done it. Wait. What good will saying it out loud do? Is there a problem, Mr. Cantabella? It wasn't your daughter who rang that bell. Should that not lift some burden off your shoulders? Are you not curious to know the name of the true culprit who had pinned the blame on your daughter all this while? How about you stop taunting us? Just say the name already. Who is this true culprit? What do you mean? I'm pretty sure it's you. Now I'm not so sure since you asked me like that. Let's do it, Professor. Are you ready? I am always ready, Mr. Wright. It's time to set things straight. The person who rang the bell is... Vigilantes. It was Cat. Wait, what? I'm pretty sure it was... Why are you guys pointing at each other? It's you, Eve Belduke. Am I right? Me? But... there were only the two of you in the belfry at the time. You know that better than anyone. And as it wasn't Espella who rang the bell, it had to be you. That's preposterous. It can't be right. It can't be true. It was an extremely traumatizing event for both you and Espella. Your friend's memories were altered from the shock without her even realizing it. She believed she was a witch who rang the bell and summoned a dragon which incinerated the town. However, Miss Belduke, Espella wasn't the only one whose memories were warped by the horrors you two witnessed. You were affected as well.
No. It wasn't me. Espella, she rang the bell. It was her, not me. these flashbacks? I've never had these before.
What's the matter? I don't want to do this now. We'll be taken over by Bezella. Bezella is just a fairy tale. And you're the one who said you wanted to come and ring the bell. I did, but I changed my mind. Hey? After coming all this way? Oh. Hmm?
My God. Doesn't really matter who really rang the bell. I mean, they were just kids.
That nightmare was too much for two young girls to take in.
That's horrible. I know the whole town died, but just as Eve rang the bell, Espella could do that too, you know. She just changed her mind at the last moment, so I'd say they're both to blame. But they were just kids, and who would even know that people lose their conscience when they hear the sound of the silver? It's just of course no one would guess something like that. It's just a very unfortunate turn of events.
Your young minds needed to protect themselves. That's why you subconsciously repressed those memories.
Then, if that's true, for the past 10 years, I've been pinning the blame for what I've done on Espella. It can't be true. It's impossible!
Ah!
Not again!
Darkloss just disappeared.
She's donned the invisibility robe.
What's she doing? Capture her? Come on, guys. Weren't you listening to the whole story? I mean, you guys are living not the real life in here.
Espella's gone.
No, she's on the roof.
I beg you, don't blame Eve. It really doesn't matter anymore who rang the accursed bell.
That's true.
This town was all created for me. It's my fault you've all been used and suffered so much.
Well, it's not your fault, it's your father's fault.
Espella, what are you saying? Please, come down right now. You haven't done anything wrong. It was all my fault.
Dad, I know that you did this for me. You've been so kind to me. And what did I do? I selfishly ran away from home.
Espella?
I will finish your story for you. The evil witch will be gone forever, and everyone will live happily ever after.
What? No.
Dad, thank you for everything you've done for me.
Are you kidding me? Don't do that.
Wait! Don't do it, Espella!
Stupid girl. What? Oh my. Now I knew it. That's why she ran. She saw that Espella was on the roof.
What are you? Isn't that Darklaw? But why, Eve? Why would you? I finally remembered everything I've done.
You're not the only one who remembered. You still have the pendant.
Yes, of course. That's because somehow I always knew it was important to me.
Espella.
You kept your pendant as well, didn't you, Eve?
For some reason, I just couldn't let it go.
Espella! Miss Darklaw!
Quick! They'll fall if we don't do something!
Let's go. We have to save them.
No, you won't make it there in time.
Why?
The wooden handrail Eve's holding onto is rotted through. We need some sort of magic.
Are you kidding me right now?
No way!
Magic, you say?
Got an idea, Professor?
If a bit of magic
While
is
you're
all that's
talking
needed to save
here,
these
they're
two young
definitely
ladies,
gonna die.
then perhaps that is something I can arrange.
Be my
What? You
guest.
can?
Please no puzzles right now. Yeah, keep talking there, why not?
You have to let go! Otherwise you'll fall too!
What? What?
Professor?
What the hell is that magic? What's going on here? Anyone? I'd like to know that too. Professor? You are a sorcerer? No, Miss Faye. We have already established that magic doesn't exist, even in this town. But then, how did you just do that? What you have just seen was the last and greatest illusion within Labyrinthia. Huh? An illusion? Magic is but an illusion, and this illusion has been produced through the power of suggestion and Labrellum's medication. Everyone in Labyrinthia has been under this particular magic spell. Now then, shall we break the spell? What? Magic is the last mystery to be solved. You have seen through all my tricks, Layton. I wouldn't have done it without the vital hint you gave me when we spoke in your tower. The final spell is concealed at the start. Okay, so what does that mean? As you know, all the spells are listed within this book.
Right, the Grand Grimoire. Now, what did Mr. Cantabella mean by the start? The front cover? Cover? Precisely, Mr. Wright. The final spell shall dispel the illusion. The correct incantation is hidden on the front cover itself.
Well then, Mr. Wright. This is the final puzzle. Soon, a new day will begin for the townspeople. Let us put an end to this illusion.
Wait, what?
Once and for all.
What do you mean? Puzzle?
Yeah.
No! Fuck. No puzzles! Shut up! 70. The final spell. 90 picarets. That's gonna be a hard one. Hidden on the cover of the Grand Grimoire are the characters that spell out the true magical incantation. Select the characters on the touchscreen and slide them over their counterparts on the tome's cover to make them vanish. The grand finale approaches. Remove the extra magical characters from the Grand Grimoire's cover to reveal the hidden incantation. Okay, I'll get it somehow. I see this one. I see this one. Wow, I'm good. No? Nope. Wait, oh, it was hidden there. Okay. Nailed it! It was an easy one. I was afraid it's gonna be hard.
Let's give it a shot.
Good. Good.
No objections.
The sun is rising, and when it does, its light will reveal the truth behind Labyrinthia's mysteries.
Now, Professor?
Yes. Shall we, Mr. Wright?
What? 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 Machines everywhere.
So this is the real magic behind Labyrinthia.
Excellent work.
How the hell?
Huh? Hey, it's Luke!
How they didn't see it? Luke! So that's who saved him, okay. Was Layton predicting what's gonna happen all this time? Like, really? Okay.
Hang on a second. The town's full of machinery?
So much for magic. It was all done with these machines.
That's right. With magic, witches can fly, buildings can disappear, Those are no easy feats to stage. To make all those incredible things real, we needed a great deal of machinery.
Couldn't he have just, I don't know, made the magic a bit simpler?
Yeah.
A witch would say the incantation, and shades would stop time with their silver bells.
And they'd go wild with these machines, making all sorts of crazy stuff happen. That's so cool. I'd love to try it.
No, seriously, that's awesome. Too bad in real life people don't lose conscience when they hear the silver bell.
I took a quick crash course before operating the machines. Not bad, hey?
Yes, Luke. What would we do without you?
So when's my turn? I want to pick something up off the ground and make it fly through the air.
I wish you'd stop looking at me when you say that, Maya.
Oh, I love this couple.
Well, in any case...
I mean, I know they're not couple, but in my dreams they are.
Right you are, Professor. The judge might have fallen asleep waiting for us.
The sun has risen above Labyrinthia, and has shown us our town's true form. Well, I really don't think there's any need for a verdict anymore.
True.
The witches on trial weren't witches after all.
Well, I believe that was established pretty a while ago. So maybe there was no reason for any trials for some time.
I am deeply relieved that those I have sentenced are still alive and well. At last, I can step down from this seat with a clear conscience. And now, the final verdict in the last witches' court session ever to be held.
But you said there's no need for a verdict. Not guilty. Yay! Where's my... Yes. Yes. That's what I wanted. Every Ace Attorney game. I feel not satisfied if I don't get showered in some confetti. Is that how you pronounce that? I'm pretty grateful for all the help. I mean, I'm very grateful, not pretty, for the help, Professor. The feeling is mutual, Mr. Wright. And gentleman always fights for the truth. I could not have done otherwise.
I'd like to congratulate the two of you. You both did splendidly in the court.
Oh, it's the judge.
You brought to light the truth about this town. Although I still find it astonishing that we could not see all of this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I cannot even begin to imagine how it was achieved. You were all given a very simple instruction when you were hypnotized. You cannot see pure black. That was sufficient.
What?
Oh, now I see. These strange contraptions are made from some sort of black metal.
But how about other black items? Wait just a second, there were plenty of black objects all over Labyrinthia, aren't there? Yeah, that's right. My hair is charcoal black too. Ah, but it is not pure black. What? What we often perceive as the color black is in fact far from being pure black. Our brains interpret reflections of light as colors. Objects which reflect even the smallest amount of light are not pure black. Pure black is only encountered within nature's darkness. Darkness, sir?
The machines used in Labyrinthia are coated in a special material developed in labrellum ink. It absorbs light without reflecting any. It is the only material that can be said to be pure black.
That's what? kind of... What? What kind of explanation is that, really? Oh, I bet this invisibility rope is also made of that same material, right? That's correct. And of course, the bell tower was concealed using the very same material as well. Awesome. When you think about it, this town abounds in all things invisible. Huh? Miss Darklow, or should I say Miss Belduke? Yes? For 10 long years, your memories had been suppressed. The truth about what occurred in the belfry was invisible to me, you mean? Mr. Cantabella and your father knew it all along. They knew who actually rang the bell. What? Did they really? Is that true, Cantabella? As we have demonstrated, it was easy to deduce from the situation in the belfry. But if he knew all along, why didn't he say something? It was, of course, for your own good.
Don't be angry at her!
You were trying to pin the blame for that disaster on Spella. Yes, I was. But if you knew that, why did you keep quiet about it? If you had only scolded me back then for lying, maybe Spella wouldn't have suffered such trauma. It was your eyes, Eve. What? Your eyes... damn it, I skipped it. You believed in what you said. You truly thought it was a Spella. What you saw was too much for you to bear. Your mind blocked out the real memory of what happened in order to maintain your own sanity. Had I called you a liar then, you would probably have suffered a mental breakdown. Mr. Cantabella and your father created this town. You were mistaken in thinking it was purely for Spella's sake. It was also for you, Miss Belduke. Remember what your father wrote in his suicide note.
I have only 2 concerns. The first is my daughter. It pains me to be leaving her alone in this world, although she probably doesn't think of me as her father.
I had an argument with my father once. He was always thinking only about the town and paid no attention to me. So you moved out and broke off contact with him. But you were wrong about your father. Not a single day passed without him thinking about you. He helped to make the story I was weaving a reality for your sake. I've been so ignorant. I was so convinced father was driven to suicide by you. Your father couldn't bear the sense of guilt he had accumulated over the past 10 years. Even though he killed himself in the end, I believe you were always the most important person to him.
Eve?
Espella! Espella, what I did to you is unforgivable. I rewrote your story, putting you through all this. I can't believe I went to such an extreme because of one wrong assumption.
No, it's okay, Eve. I wasn't angry.
You weren't?
You've always been on my side. And even today, you saved my life.
Espella.
I also owe you an apology. After all, I forgot about my dearest friend. I'm so sorry, Eve. Ah, there you are, Eve. Where were you?
Another Eve?
Your cat's called Eve.
You know what I've just noticed? You two are very much alike. You and Eve the cat.
True, they do look alike. For some reason, for a long time, I thought this cat is actually the Great Witch that turns into the cat. And I also thought that it's Darklow. And there's no magic, as usual. Great.
What? It's all in your head.
No, she's right.
It looks like Eve has taken a liking to the other Eve.
You've got that right, and the similarity is really striking.
Oh dear.
Aw, that's so heartwarming.
My accidental guests, Professor Layton.
Yes?
I must say, I am indebted to you.
Yeah, you are.
Don't mention it.
You know, when I started planning my revenge 3 months ago, Mr. Layton was a part of my plans. I needed to lure him to Labyrinthia.
Why me?
You were famous in London, and word of your skills reached me even here.
Oh.
What's more, you specialize in mysteries.
Wait, how
So I
about
thought that if
his
you came to
friend?
this
Is
town,
he
you'd feel
dead?
compelled
Is he
to solve
actually
ours.
dead?
Well, I am honored.
That's cool. And what about me?
Ah, well, about you. How should I put it?
Huh.
Your arrival here was purely accidental.
Really?
You mean it wasn't planned?
As you know, Espella escaped and got involved in that incident on the freighter. As a consequence, I had no choice but to bring you here.
I see. I shouldn't have asked. My fragile pride has suffered yet another blow.
Oh, come on. She didn't say that you're bad. She just says that you're not special.
Nick, you can't escape your fate. You're doomed to always find trouble if it doesn't find you first.
How
No.
about some words of sympathy for a change?
But Maya will be always by your side. Don't worry.
I am terribly sorry. The only thing on my mind the last 3 months was revenge.
Whatever your intentions were, the last witch trial has ended in the best possible way for this town. You were correct in your judgment. You always are.
You're too kind to me.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Eve, for opening my eyes.
Sorry to break up this little happy ending, but I've sort of got an important question.
Like
Why were
what?
you going to end the story?
Only Newton knew the real reason. I am suffering from an incurable illness.
What?
Dad, you're ill. Is it serious?
It is a rare disease with no known cure.
Why didn't you tell me? Had I known...
I wanted this to be my secret. I suppose that was a bad decision on my part. I thought I'd finish the story before I died and lay the foundations for a new world. Honestly, I was desperate. I didn't much care about Labyrinthia anymore.
Dad, why wanted it have to happen to you. Especially now that we're finally back together.
He probably was sick for a while.
Cheer up, Espella.
How can I?
Labrellum's new drug development center contacted me a short while ago. They have succeeded in creating a new medicine, thanks to Belduke's research. It's a top-secret wonder drug for my illness.
Are you serious?
A wonder drug?
Wonder drug. Okay.
Newton had been working on finding a cure for my illness until the very end.
Oh.
It would seem that the cure was his final gift to me.
My father.
Newton.
Yeah, funny.
was the truest
Your father
I had.
killed himself, but before he killed himself, he found the cure of the disease for another man. Great.
I'm going to undergo surgery. Do not fear. I shall return. So stop making that sad face, Espella.
Dad, will everything be back to how it once was?
Of course it will.
And Eve,
Can it really?
will you still be my friend?
Of course.
Oh,
Thank you.
this is adorable. Though the explanation for how people didn't see machines and other stuff is a bit too much. I'm going to drop by Mrs. Sinclair's bakery. I've got so much to tell her. Do you mind if I go, Dad? I won't take long. Of course not. Please do. Looks like Eve wants to come too. What? Oh, you meant the cat. Espella, mind if we tag along? Not at all. We are welcome to come. Awesome. Maybe we'll get some tasty baked bread. I thought we were going there for a different reason. Well, anyway, I'll be off then, Professor. Pass on my regards to Mrs. Eclair, Luke. You're not going with them? What? Oh my god, we're not done there yet. Can't believe it. So, what's going to happen to the town? I have released everyone from hypnosis. They will soon recover the memories of their lives before Labyrinthia. As of today, Project Labyrinthia is over. Ah, I see. They are free to leave if they so wish. I imagine they will make a run for it. This place will turn into inhabited ruins, just like it was 10 years ago.
I have some doubts about that.
Huh?
Your Honor!
What's going on?
I now understand that this town is an artificial creation of yours. Nonetheless, to us Labyrinthians, the past 10 years
We're real.
No one can yet tell how this town will change. However, it is possible that some people will want to stay.
True, you also said yourself that those people who signed the contracts weren't happy with their lives before. So when they remember their lives before, they will probably still want to stay here. So, yeah, Labyrinthia can still continue living,
Who knows?
but with no lice
Perhaps you'll
anymore.
find yourself creating a new town along with them.
A new town, you say?
I am no longer the judge, but, if possible, I would like to remain here.
You have my gratitude, Your Honor.
You need not address me as Your Honor anymore, Sir Storyteller.
Very funny.
And so,
And
the
so?
last witch trial has drawn to a close.
Oh. No witches, though. I'm sad. Could there be at least once a magical game? Since it's a crossover, they could actually make it
Mr. Wright, Mr. Layton, and my
a magical
father talk
game.
about? That I do not know. But Dad made a promise to me. Once everyone recovers their memories and he is cured of his illness, he will return to write a new story with everyone's help. This time, the story will be real without any lies or illusions.
Yeah. I hope for the new future. A better one.
Huh? Huh?
Hey, it's all the townspeople. That guy is just trying to see stuff.
What a beautiful sound.
Almost as if it's ringing in a new beginning for the town.
Thank you, Eve.
They changed the bell? I mean, I see no one losing their
Okay,
consciousness.
then. Whenever you are ready, Mr. Barnum.
Hey, Barnum. Call me.
Thank you!
He knows how to control the
so
stuff.
much for everything!
Guess his memory is back.
You take care now.
You too, Mr. Cantabella. Bye! Be
Bye.
sure to visit us again!
Maybe.
You can bet on it!
I wish all of you the very best. Mr.
Aw,
Wright,
I love
I
happy
knew I could
endings.
count on you to stand your ground and fight me to the very end.
Me too. I always believed in you, Professor. And I know
Really,
it's why
did
we
you?
managed to get to the mysterious truth behind this town.
When we get back to England, we'll drop by and see you, Luke.
Great! I'll show you around London.
Cool. This is satisfying. Okay. You know what? Yeah, I like the ending. I do feel satisfied. Which sometimes doesn't happen when I come to the end of the game. Though a lot of stuff was stretched, but I feel like that quite often in Ace Attorney series. So that's pretty much canon here. Some points were, I mean, I don't know how to say this. This looks good on her. Wait, are they together now? They would make a very beautiful couple actually. What was I saying here? Some moments of the game sounded ridiculous, looked ridiculous, and I mean, most of these trials were kind of pointless when you just look at the perspective and just I mean, seriously, the whole story could be just probably first chapter and the last chapter, and that's all. Everything between it was just a filler, in my opinion. They could do something better with that. I don't know, that's just my opinion. But nevertheless, I still enjoyed this game. Actually, I think they should have included more puzzles. I know I skipped quite a few of them. And apparently I can probably check them out. Maybe not. Maybe they can't really. They won't let me do it after I finish the game. Probably have to go to the previous saves, but all the saves were during the last trial, so no puzzles for me. Unless there is some mode after you finish the game where you can play the puzzles. Let's see. Maybe there's something after that? Oh. That's Layton's office.
Professor, I feel like I've just finished reading a really long story.
True.
Indeed, Luke.
I feel
know
the
what you
same.
mean.
A very,
It
very
certainly
damn
was an
long
enthralling
story.
adventure.
I wonder how Espella and the others back in Labyrinthia are getting on. I'd love to go back and see them. Although, I'd rather not have to be sucked into a book to get there.
Perhaps we should ask Carmine to come along with us.
So Carmine is
Great.
alive.
It's a real relief he
Good to
recovered
know.
from all of his injuries. But he was a bit put out when he found out you'd already solved all the town's secrets, Professor.
Well, we mustn't forget that we didn't solve them all by ourselves. We couldn't
Yeah.
have done it without the help of our friends across the Atlantic.
I wonder what they're doing right now. Battling away in a courtroom somewhere?
I'd wager they may well be, Luke. At any rate, we must
That's what
make
they
our own
always do.
preparations. There's a brand new case that requires our attention, and that means a brand new set of puzzles to be solved.
I have 2 Professor Layton games on 3DS bought, so one day I will.
What's the matter, Wright?
Edgeworth!
Has the cat got your tongue?
What the hell is wrong with your
Or
voice
are you still in a holiday kind of mood? Perhaps your mind is as clouded as the English
and
sky.
face?
Any hints, Maya?
Not really. If only the professor were here.
Yeah.
I think at this point you've
Oh,
gotta
come
use
on,
that
aren't we
patented
friends
spell of
already
yours,
with
Nick.
Edgeworth?
Patented spell?
Hello, Earth to Nick. Just when we think it's all over, you always use it to turn the tables.
Ah, got it. I just have to close my eyes and say the magic word. Luckily, I don't need a witch's scepter for this one.
Save the chit
And that is
later,
what?
Right? I've almost missed that utterly annoying spell of yours. Fine, let's hear it then.
Just take a deep breath
Objection?
and give it all you've got.
Well, here goes. Objection!
Yes! Oh damn, that was so awesome. I love that they actually showed that moment in, with Edgeworth. That was funny. No, and kind of classic music here. Damn. Now this ending makes me feel like I enjoyed this game way more than I actually did. It was enjoyable. It was, I must say that it was a beautiful game. It was, I really liked the art style. But seriously, the story could be way more better done. Lots of stuff was just a filler. Puzzles were nice, not too hard, thankfully. I did get stuck in a few of them, but still managed to do it. Pretty much with no hints. I'm not talking about the trials here though. That's when I towards the end, I became a little bit too impatient because this game took pretty... can't say too much time, but took way more time than I thought it will. But definitely less than a previous Ace Attorney game we played. For example, it took, I believe, 32 parts, which were somewhere between an hour and a half and 3 hours long. So this game is definitely shorter than that game. So I don't know, maybe next game I'm gonna play is Ace Attorney 6, I think. So if I will, it's gonna be a very long one, I presume, but I can't wait to jump in it. I didn't decide yet which one I'm gonna play. Will it be Ace Attorney? Will it be something else? Not sure, because long games take too much time to finish, and there's so many games I'd like to play. I guess I'll leave you here with these credits. Enjoy the music and nice pictures of some moments we have already seen in this game. And I hope to see you in the next, I mean, not just next, maybe in some previous walkthroughs. Just hope to see you somewhere. Take care. Bye.